The final race of a busy weekend for the Ginetta Championships here at Snetterton is rounded out by the final race of the weekend in the Ginetta GT Academy. It is race 3 with 2 wins this weekend to the rather dominant Jamie Caudle. And as fans and trainee marshals alike get ready for the final race of a busy weekend of GT activity on track, it is Jamie Caudle then, 5 times a winner in the championship now, who is on pole position. With him at the front of the grid, Charlie Digby, who is a double winner this year, but championship leading Jamie Caudle is going to take some stopping in this race, I think, given the way that he has gone already this season. We're about half a minute away from the formation lap getting underway. Rolling start for the Ginetta GT Academy. And there you can see that turquoise car of Jamie Caudle on pole position. It is Charlie Digby with him at the front. Then you've got James Nicholas on the second row of the grid, as Digby's a bit slow away. Shiv Sapra, who is the driver who's had 2 rookie class wins, but has been late into the championship, really. So he's sort of playing catch-up in terms of points there, 5th in the championship. He is starting 4th on the grid. 20 minutes on the clock. And the field being brought around then behind the pace car as it is at the moment. At the back of the grid there, number 25, Louis Darling, who retired from the earlier race with an incident, and then the car not able to make it to the end. The wheel came off, indeed, the front left parted company. So this is the grid for the rolling start. Jamie Caudle on pole for E3 Sport and MDD Racing's Charlie Digby alongside. Another of the E3 Sport cars, James Nicholas, starting 3rd ahead of the best placed rookie, Shiv Sapra. Alex Dayton is next ahead of Joe Edge. He's another of the rookies. Then you've got Peter Thompson, and 3rd rookie on the grid, but the championship leader, Alan Wright. He and Peter Thompson, the C next to their names, saying that they race in the Chairman's Cup for the more mature driver. Lexi Belk is on the 5th row. Damien Duffy for company ahead of Vikesh Parekh and Lucy Hodgson. And then Louis Darling rounds out the grid. Sam Shrimpton was on the 2nd row for the first race yesterday. Sadly, though, had to head back home before he could race. So he's missed out on all 3 races this weekend. So big disappointment for Sam Shrimpton, who'd won that Palmer Sport scholarship to come into the series last year. This is Peter Thompson's view. He got caught up in somebody else's, brackets Joe Edge's, close brackets, incident yesterday that did some damage to the car. Today it's been a bit more smooth for him. In the earlier race today, 7th and 2nd within the Chairman's Cup. Alex Dayton, the Chairman's Cup winner earlier on, he's 5th on the grid. It's the full Snetterton 300 circuit in use, so the cars now turning their way up through the infield, going through here Oggies up towards Williams and then on to Bentley Straight. Speed building all the while when they get down towards the S's, and coming out the other side of the S's through Corham, it'll be a case of getting into that side-by-side formation ready for the start of the race. So there you can see number 4, that being the car of Damien Duffy, one of W2R's squad. W2R standing for Want to Race, and then you can go and hire a car and off you go trackside. Number 14, Charlie Digby, making his way here down Bentley Straight and getting himself up alongside the pole position man, Jamie Caudle. 2nd row of the grid, 99, James Nicholas, triple winner this year. James had an odd earlier race today, made a bad start, fought back to get 3rd place, and then got onto the tail of the leaders and sat there for 2 or 3 laps, and then all of a sudden the pace seemed to just evaporate. He dropped away and was never able to claw it back again. Maybe that was all to do with tyre preservation, and maybe he'd asked a bit too much too early. But either way, it was a slightly odd outcome given how well he looked to be going earlier on. So the E3 Sport car, the Jim Edwards team, operating the cars 51 and 99, one behind t'other as they come through Corham, getting ready for the start. Jamie Caudle in 51, James Nicholas in number 99, Shiv Sapra in the Paradigm by Zentech car. Paradigm, Darren Lung's team at Simon Traves. Jim Edwards' former son-in-law operates the Paradigm sort of race team, as well as racing his Formula 1 stock car. But we're ready to go racing. The cars now making their way up towards the timing line, and so any moment the lights will change from red. We'll go racing, and we'll see whether or not Digby can put one over on Caudle, or indeed whether James Nicholas can from the 2nd row of the grid. It's a little bit of a scrappy start from Shiv Sapra, but in terms of darting out from the grid blocks, but Charlie Digby makes a good start to get around the outside of Jamie Caudle going into turn 1 at Riches, and James Nicholas is 3rd. Right on his tail is a good start from Alex Dayton. Digby runs out of road. He gets onto all the dust on the outside, compromises the traction caution. He survived that pretty well as Nicholas gets up the inside going into the Wilson hairpin. Contact, Digby into the back of Caudle. He turns him around and that rips the rear wing off Jamie Caudle's car, and he is effectively out of the race from that, I would have thought, because even if he can drag it back without the rear wing, that is going to be an evil handling car. It was just as Charlie Digby drove past that that glancing blow took the rear wing off. So Digby, I think he's going to get looked at for the contact, and now you've got James Nicholas then up front. So real change in fortunes, having dominated the first two races. Now Jamie Caudle looking as though it may well be retirement for him. Digby also delayed in that, so he's down into, what, 5th place. So it's a very jumbled order compared to what we've had for the rest of the weekend here as the cars sprint again up towards Agostini. Replay of lap 1 up at Wilson. On board with Digby, brakes late, bang, into the back, turns Caudle around, and as he tries to go round him, he clips him again, and that bit of contact just hooks the rear wing off the car. Charlie Digby trying to rejoin, and as he does so, he falls down the pack. That's Alan Wright's car to the right. He's able to clear him and just take 5th place as the cars then come up through Agostini. Meanwhile, Bentley Straight, lap 1, 20-minute race, so we're looking at 10 laps here under rather greyer skies now, considering it's a warm day. It's pretty overcast now. And then number 14, Charlie Digby, trying to respond. So he's getting himself back up the order, going ahead of Peter Thompson's car now. So back up into 4th place. Peter Thompson there goes down towards Bombhole. Shiv Sapra is still the leading rookie in 3rd place and becoming there in that red and black car the next target for the charging Charlie Digby, the accountant, coming up to the tail of the rookie class leader there. Number 13, Joe Edge, goes through 3rd of the rookies. Alan Wright's the 2nd of them in the middle of that little train of cars. There, to the end of lap 1, comes the Sapra-Digby battle. But up front, James Nicholas trying to get away from Alex Dayton, who is in the Paradigm by Zentech car. He's had a 2nd place this year. He's had a 3rd place this year, but not been a race winner. So let's see what Alex Dayton can do then as the cars go across the line. 2nd at Silverstone he was, 3rd at Donington earlier on in the season as well, and powering up towards turn 2. This is where it all unravelled for Jamie Caudle on that opening lap of the race. Jamie Caudle has come to the pit lane, and it rather looks as though that may well be the end of the race for him. It rather depends how quickly they could do anything like put on a whole new rear section of the car, but I'm not sure the teams are really geared up to do things like that. So they can't put a new rear wing on it. It may well be retirement. We'll keep an eye. Meanwhile, James Nicholas, Alex Dayton, and then the battle is on. Look, Digby all over the back of Shiv Sapra. You can see slightly deformed bodywork on the right front corner of Charlie Digby's car after the 2 bits of contact. And Sapra goes wide, and also Peter Thompson wide behind Digby. This is Charlie Digby's view, right on the back of Sapra, going up now through Hamilton. And going down the pit lane is Luke Caudle, and he's Jamie Caudle, I should say. He has rejoined the race, but without the rear wing. So I think all he can do is try and nurse the car to the end and see if he can salvage some points for the championship, even allowing for the fact that it's not going to be a very easy car to drive. So Jamie Caudle rejoins, but there's not a great deal the team could do. As I say, they don't have a whole rear section to put on. Putting a new wing is going to take too long as well. So it's damage limitation now. Digby, meanwhile, all over the back of Sapra as the cars now turn again through the S's. Charlie Digby looking quick, but he can't find a way as yet past Shiv Sapra as the field again turns now through that right-hander bomb hole. The top 2 as well escaped, and in fact, from the top 2, James Nicholas has checked out as well. So he's already extended that advantage over the opposition as the field again comes now down through the right-hander of Coram towards turn 12, up to the end of the lap now. And certainly looking strong up front is James Nicholas, in contrast really from what was going on for him in the race earlier on in the day, because as I said earlier, he caught up to the traffic and then the pace just seemed to ebb away. There going through is Alan Wright, and he's got up from the back of the grid Louis Darling in number 25 looking for a way through, which he does on the outside line. A bit of a lock-up from Alan Wright. Darling ahead. That puts him into now 6th place, does it? Yes, as they come past the pits. And number 13 next in the queue there, you can see also trying to get into the mix as well, Joe Edge, the man that used to run the 76 GT team. So as the cars work lap number 3, 15 minutes still on the clock. As I say, 10 laps is what we're kind of expecting with these cars lapping at the 2:07 mark normally. Best lap we've had so far, a 2.8 by James Nicholas, as there, Sapra and Digby arrive on the scene. Both of them just edging a little bit nearer, it looks, to the car of Alex Dayton, who certainly benefited from all the dramas on that first lap. He was on the 3rd row, and he's running there in 2nd place in that rather anonymous white car, run by the Paradigm by Zentek squad. On board now then with Charlie Digby. That really grubby and cracked screen can't be easy to look out of, but Charlie Digby managing to focus through it. Coming now up through the right-hander that takes him onto Bentley Straight once more then. Accelerate down towards the vehicle bridge and then wiper on. It's starting to spot with rain maybe. Well, that's not helped at all, has it? He's whatever was on the screen has been completely smeared. Now, looking to see whether we have got rain falling, because it was looking as though there was some liquid on the screen. Is that some liquid coming out of the back of Sapra's car, or is it that there's a bit of moisture in the air now? Either way, whatever was on the screen has been totally smeared, and Charlie Digby's life has just got a whole lot more difficult. Normally, you just let the air pressure blow that off, but using the wiper, I'm afraid, may not have been a good move. And look, he's dropped back a little bit now as he tries to find a bit of visibility. So through goes that leading line. That's 8th place Joe Edge going through. And for the race lead, James Nicholas well clear up front now. The last time he crossed the stripe, it was 2.7 seconds worth of an advantage. And he's even further ahead, I suspect, now with Alex Dayton in that 2nd place, waiting for it to come by. 2 minutes 8, the new best lap of the race by Nicholas. 4 seconds now is the lead gap. Side by side there, Darling to the outside of Peter Thompson for 5th place. Louis Darling does it again, round the outside, going into turn 1. Now that he's got 4 wheels on his wagon, unlike the end of race 2, he's going really well, making good progress. And now Alan Wright comes up to have a go at Peter Thompson as well. Brakes late, gets through, but that's going to force wide, I fear, Louis Darling. Meanwhile, Charlie Digby trying to peer through all of that grime that's smeared across the screen, doing a pretty manful job now, but kicking himself and putting the wiper on. What came out of that battle between Wright and Thompson is that Thompson's still ahead. So they work their way now up out of turn 3. This is the run on towards Agostini, riding on board with Peter Thompson. That is now the 5th place car of Louis Darling ahead, down towards Agostini, go left. Pick up the power now. Too early in the car brakes, but he's on the power nice enough to get the momentum out of the corner and keep at bay 77, which is Alan Wright in another of the cars in the Chairman's Cup. There it is, number 77, Alan Wright again for the W2R team. Rookie driver, but has gone very nicely in the championship so far this season. So the race leaders currently working lap number 4. 12 minutes are on the clock, as now the battle between Peter Thompson, who got roughed up yesterday but has had a better day today, and Alan Wright behind him. That is for 6th and 7th places, goes down Bentley Straight. Alex Dayton still a long way up the road in the Chairman's Cup. It's still Shiv Sapra leading in the rookie competition, and Wright thought about the outside line and then thought better of it, coming down towards the S's. So served intent, but it was to no avail, and he slots back in, mindful all the time that Joe Edge is right there behind in 8th place, number 13. There he is, the red car. Joe Edge, who drives for W2R. Novice Cross on the back, very much one of the rookie drivers. And here the field accelerating again round Coram, down towards the end of the lap. Out of the turn 12 left-hander, though, already, and heading up towards the timing line is the rather dominant-looking James Nicholas. He's making good his escape here. Last time around, he did a fastest lap of the race, and he's gone quicker still now. 2 minutes 7.781 as he continues to build the gap over everybody else. There's the confirmation of that. So 2 minutes 7 for James Nicholas, and 5.5 seconds is the advantage that he's got now over the traffic. There in 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th. The line is building behind Alex Dayton, who has a little bit of a lock up there, going up towards the Wilson hairpin. And Joe Edge trying to squeeze up the inside of Alan Wright. Didn't quite work. There was sort of a gap when he committed and then had to back out of it at the last moment. So that's compromised the run, not only through the corner, but on the exit of the hairpin as well. So there's the battle on for 2nd place, and Shiv Sapra looking as though he's about to make a move up the inside line. There's a gap. Dayton gives him the room as well, so Shiv Sapra needing no second invitation. Through he goes, but he'll go wide there. That might give Dayton a chance to challenge on the inside, coming now up towards the run into Hamilton, but he can't really make the issue work for him there, so he's got to slot back in behind. We're getting a driving standards flag for Lexi Belk, not for the first time today. Lexi Belk hit by track limit penalties in race 2. And in this 3rd race of the weekend, it may well be that Lexi Belk's heading in the same direction. Meanwhile, this is Digby's view and that increasingly mucky screen. Now, he's behind a different car, so is there liquid coming out of his own engine bay that's coming onto the screen? Because nobody else seems to be struggling in terms of rain. I can't see any spots of rain falling on the window, even though the sky's quite grey. But Charlie Digby certainly looks to be having problems with visibility on that windscreen. So I wonder whether it's something coming out of his own engine onto his screen. It can't be put down to Shiv Sapra because now he's got Alex Dayton in front of him, and still that screen is dirty. Through he turns. The field on lap number 5. But Charlie Digby's view ever more obscured now. There is 98 Lexi Belt. That's the car, 98, that's attracting attention via track limit issues. And so also now, in fact, is 77 of Alan Wright that we've been looking at in terms of that Chairman's Cup battle. Race leader James Nicholas there has already gone storming by. Next stop for the championship, Brands Hatch at the end of August, and he's very nearly there. He's that far up the road. Shiv Sapra now in second place. There he is. 7 seconds back is the margin. And then you've got in third place going through Alex Dayton with Charlie Digby in fourth. That's another car, 77, Alan Wright, under observation for track limits as Digby has to defend now. Look from Louis Darling, who's come from last on the grid. And as he can see things, and Charlie Digby probably can't, he might be able to gain another place here. Out wide, up the curb goes Charlie Digby. And that means now that Louis Darling, number 25, is going to be able to have a go. This battle between Peter Thompson and Alan Wright, though, still as close as ever it is. Thompson ahead, and 8.5 minutes remain of this final race of the weekend in the Ginetta GT Academy to bring into a one-make GT-style categories. Drivers of limited experience, and a bit of contact there, I think, between Wright and Thompson. Indeed, Thompson spins, and off in avoidance goes Joe Edge. So Peter Thompson tries to turn the car around. His screen's looking a little bit as though it's got either lots of flies or a bit of liquid on it as well, but he does rejoin, delayed, and so that, I fear, is going to get looked at as well. So Alan Wright getting involved with Peter Thompson, and there he is locking up as well, and spins, so the bite a bit. He's involved in one incident, then has his own. Outbraked himself there, going into Oggies. Around goes Wright. So the field currently on lap number 6, as you look at the traffic wriggling up through the infield. So it is up front, James Nicholas ahead of Shiv Sapra, and another car off the road. Is that Thompson trying to rejoin? There, in the meantime, is Joe Edge. Then is Peter Thompson behind, and he has actually, because of Alan Wright's spin, retained his position, hasn't he? So although Alan Wright tapped him into a spin, his own spin kind of leveled that playing field. There is 77 then going through. Up to the timing line comes Shiv Sapra in second place. Now, what, if anything, can he do about the race leader? James Nicholas, he's already long gone. 7 minutes on the clock. This is the rookie class leader then, Shiv Sapra, coming up towards the timing line. He goes through now, and the margin 8 seconds then. Between that top two on that lap, Shiv Sapra did a 2 minutes 8.4. No, he's lost another 1.2 seconds. So, yeah, he's falling away in real terms. Alex Dayton is still third. Charlie Digby is now being given the driving standards flag for track limits, probably because he can't see where the limit of the track is. And Digby also under attack from Louis Darling. So his race is starting to unravel, and he goes wide. Look at turn 2. Just about regroups in time to defend there from Louis Darling, but Charlie Digby then now comes up through turn 3, and Alan Wright's off again. Second spin of the race. He was in 8th place, but he's had a big moment going out of turn 1, and there are now apparently reports of some rain starting to fall. So I don't think there's enough to catch people out. It's certainly not that wet, but a little mistake made there by Alan Wright, and as he gets back onto the circuit, that brings more dust. It's like dry rain in a sense, because then all of a sudden the dust means that if you run over it, you lose traction, and then you're in strife. There is Digby then, still running strongly in that 4th place, albeit now not really a threat to those ahead. And behind him is Louis Darling in number 25, as the cars here turn out of the right-hander of Williams onto Bentley Straight. But James Nicholas may never have had such an easy race. He's way, way clear up the road as he comes then now into the S's. James, who was third in the second race at Donington. He went one better in race 2, and then he went one better in race 1 at Silverstone. So rounds 2, 3 and 4, a 3-2-1 in terms of results. Third, second, and then a win. He had another win at Oulton Park in the second race. He backed that up from pole with a win in the third, and it looks like he's going to be on target for a victory here, because right now, the way that he's going, 8 seconds to the good, there's nobody that's going to get near him unless he makes a mistake. This is for second place, Shiv Sapra ahead of Alex Dayton, as they now make that run through the long right of Coram and then down towards the braking zone into now the left at turn 12. There's Digby still coming under attack from Louis Darling, who's made good progress up from the back of the grid, but having now got to 5th, looks as though he may well have plateaued. The cars are accelerating their way over the timing line. Number 25 there, Louis Darling. And now he does commit to the inside line, lines up to have a go, and goes through. So the MDD car goes by, Louis Darling up the place. Look at Digby's limited view. They're trying to peer through all of that smeared liquid on the screen, and he's going to fight back. Is he on the inside line? That's brave. He does go through. Can he make the corner? Yes, he can. So despite the lack of visibility out of the front of the car, Charlie Digby goes by, picks up the place. So good racing that, because he lost out at one corner and fought back at the very next. So good racing between the two. 4 more minutes of the race remain. And here, Shiv Sapra still looking as though he's on target for 2nd position. Down they come again into that left-hander of Agostini. They turn their way through. Now, time penalties are coming. One of them is for Lexi Belk, and another is for Alan Wright. So Lexi Belk 98, 77 is Alan Wright. 5 seconds worth of penalties for track limits, or track limit abuses, and that's going to be added on at the end of the race. So both of them finding themselves in trouble, and Alan Wright's had a spin anyway, 2 spins I think, so that's why he's a long way down in 11th place and will fall further. 51, by the way, Jamie Caudle is still circulating and is 8th in class, so he's a lap down nearly. He's coming up towards the timing line now, but he is still out there despite the contact earlier on and still trying to salvage some points. So the car is clearly at reduced pace. It's about 5 seconds a lap slower, nearly 6 seconds a lap slower than the leaders, but he is still going and he is still trying to rack up some points. You can see there's all sorts of muck in the front of the car, and having won races 1 and 2, now that's going to feel like a totally different animal with no rear wing on the car. So all he can do is just nurse it to the end and hope that other people fall off ahead of him or gain further penalties, and he can buy back some places that way. But even if he comes home 8th, he's going to score, so it's worth persevering. Here in the meantime comes the 2nd placed duel. Shiv Sapra keeping Alex Dayton at bay. It's been pretty close all the while, but with 2 more laps of the race to go, Dayton has never quite got to within more than 0.6 of a second, so he's never quite close enough to strike. As this lap, Charlie Digby looks a bit more secure over 25 of Louis Darling there. Goes up now towards that right-hander of turn 2 into the Wilson hairpin, but Digby not able really to fight back here as the cars turn out of Wilson, come on to that run down to turn 3. In the background, look, Joe Edge in that red-fronted car. He had to go grass cutting in avoidance of a spinning Peter Thompson early on, remember. He's hanging on in there in a good 6th place. Thompson running in 7th, but a bit distant after being whacked into that spin earlier on. Nose to tail now, indeed, for 2nd and 3rd. Sapra coming under renewed attack from Alex Dayton, who did much of his hard work off the line, didn't he, to vault from 5th on the grid up into 2nd spot. He's lost 1 place to Sapra, but he is trying to fight back as best he can. The penalised cars, that's a sort of private battle at the minute, being headed by Lexi Belk, but Alan Wright is lapping quicker and catching, so he'll gain a place on the road at least. And because of the penalty for Belk and corrected times as well. So it is worth him pushing on to try to do that. There for 2nd and 3rd, the gap stretches again. Digby getting away, interestingly, from Darling. So although they were pretty close and indeed swapped over a couple of laps ago, now that margin has certainly widened once again between the two. And the race leader long gone. James Nicholas already the other side of the S's here, making his way onto Coram. So there'll be just about a minute on the clock by the time the race leader comes down towards the turn 12 left-hander. That's going to give him 1 more lap. Here he is. So the clock now just under a minute to go, and up towards the timing line goes James Nicholas then. He won the equivalent race at Oulton Park, the 3rd race of the weekend. It looks like he's going to do it again, but he had to work a little bit harder this time from 3rd on the grid. And interesting, after that mysterious sort of ebbing away of pace in race 2, in this race, he has never been threatened. So James Nicholas here turns his way on that last lap up around turn 1. Brakes hard, goes into that Wilson hairpin. He's nearly 9 seconds clear of anybody else. So all he's got to do now is tick off the corners and bring it home for a race win. There is Shiv Sapra, who is on target for a best ever of 2nd place, but also for another rookie win, and that's going to be 3 out of 3 this weekend. He's got Alex Dayton behind him. come here out of turn 3. And you can see in the background, Charlie Digby clear again of Louis Darling, and then in 6th place, Joe Edge, as the race leaders again come through Agostini. So they go now into that left-hander, this time for the last time. James Nicholas then way out up front. This is going to be a big help for him in the championship because he came into this race second in the points behind Jamie Caudle. 29 points the margin, but it's going to be whittled down a little with him not only outscoring Caudle, but also by a healthy margin. 8th in class, Jamie Caudle. So this is a big payday, as it were, for James Nicholas, who comes now down through the S's. Accelerates out the other side of the final part. He's got really 3 more corners to go, the first of which is Bomb Hole, then you've got Coram, then you've got turn 12 at the end of the lap, and he powers his way now on to Coram Curve. James Nicholas then in the car run by the E3 Sport team, the Auto Finesse backed car, heads towards the end of race 3 for the Ginetta GT Academy. And as I said earlier on, an easier race he may never have enjoyed because the opposition kind of self-destructed early on, and up towards the line he will come then. James Nicholas is going to score race honours in race 3 at Snetterton. It is a 4th win of the year for James Nicholas. Checkered flag waved. James Nicholas takes the race win then as he comes across the line. Shiv Sapra is going to be second, for third Alex Dayton, and nose to tail for 4th Charlie Digby. Just he's going to make it to the line ahead of Louis Darling, who really did fight back on that last lap, but again just ran out of time, couldn't quite make that stick. The margin 0.160 of a second when they came across the line. There is Peter Thompson, who's had a pretty tough weekend. Another penalty has gone the way of Lexi Belk, so a further 10 seconds now for track limits. And that's exactly what happened, a 5 and then a 10 in race number 2. So you could argue that Lexi Belk has either not learnt or been unable to learn in terms of a problem with the car, perhaps. There, trainee marshal with checkered flag, happy with his Pirelli cap, tied into the tyres on which pretty much everything runs this race weekend. But James Nicholas happier still, race winner and a 4th victory of the season. So that is going to add a little bit more spice for the championship by the time we get to Brands Hatch at the end of August. 3 races there, and then Donington at the end of the season. So James Nicholas there makes that run back to the pit lane. We're still waiting for Jamie Caudle for 12th place, for 8th in class. He's not going to benefit from anybody's penalty to gain a position overall, even allowing for the 15 seconds for Lexi Belk. Then I'm afraid it's not going to assist, but he will at least get home and score something. So the last car coming down towards turn 12 there is a very happy Shiv Sapra. He's had a really impressive weekend, very much the dominant driver within that rookie class, 3 out of 3. And that's going to mark him out, I think, as a man to watch if he stays on for the rest of the season, because he's unlocked a lot of pace this weekend, having not been racing in the season in its entirety. Right, over the line has just gone Jamie Caudle, so he was nearly 2 minutes back, but he has got home, he has got points, and that also means we can confirm a race result. James Nicholas wins race 3 for the Ginetta GT Academy, ahead of Shiv Sapra, and then 3rd, Alex Dayton. 4th, going the way of Charlie Digby, ahead of Louis Darling, and then Joe Edge. Peter Thompson, 7th, ahead of Lucy Hodgson. 8th, 9th, going to Alan Wright, and Damien Duffy rounding out the top 10. Penalties, of course, for Lexi Belk, 5 and then a 10, 5 seconds to Alan Wright, therefore affecting where they were in the classification. So, a calm race for James Nicholas up front, and a winning margin of 8.3 seconds. Shiv Sapra, Alex Dayton, the other drivers required for a post-race podium. Let's look then at what happened in the last race of the weekend for the Ginetta GT Academy. It all began with Jamie Caudle on pole position, fending off a challenge of Charlie Digby down towards the first corner at Riches. Behind there was a quick starting Alex Dayton, and as Digby ran wide onto all the dust, he then regrouped and tried to brake as late as he could up towards Wilson, hit Caudle, turned him around and then hit him again, and it was that secondary contact where the rear wings sort of interlocked that ripped the rear wing off Caudle's car. Jamie able to rejoin, he made a pit stop and carried on to the end, a long way back as Peter Thompson and Alan Wright got together, and eventually Wright sort of shoveled Thompson out of the way. Both continued although Alan Wright then had his own dramas, locking up, for example, coming through Oggies and then spinning, and he had another grassy moment before the end of the race as well. This was it. Once he got back in the right direction, he was able to rejoin, albeit copped a penalty for track limit offences, so 9th he was in the end. For 3rd, it was Alex Dayton, who was the winning driver in the Chairman's Cup, battling on without the rear wing in an evil handling car was Jamie Caudle, but he eventually got the car to the line. 12th, 8th in class. It was a win, though, the 4th of the year for James Nicholas, who ran out an easy winner in the Ginetta GT Academy here at Snetterton.